Kay Burne of Finn Valley Athletic Club's with me here. We're just waiting on Mark English to return with his bronze medal, Kay, and I suppose there's no surprise to see the likes of yourself, who's been so involved in athletics for so long. You've probably watched him from underage up to get a bronze medal at the European Championships.
Oh well, we're just so proud of him. It's amazing result for him, and I'm delighted for him, Letterkenny, Teresa and Ireland.
Are you surprised that he's been good enough at this relatively early stage of his career to take a bronze medal, Kay?
Well, so you don't know what's going to happen when they go to the championships. He's been showing great promise, but you've seen the race yourself. It's just a hair's breadth between getting a medal and not, or not even qualifying. But he's good leadership, and I'm just delighted for him. And I'm happy that he got so on.
We were just talking there, Kay, before we started recording this. The semi-final probably was a very good learning curve for him, where he just ran out of steam, and I think as Kieran Carlin was saying, in the final he ran his own race.
Yeah, that's Kieran mentioned that all right. He gathered that from his interview, that he just went back to his basics and what worked for him before, and that's very sensible thing to do. And at the end of the day, when you're in that situation, it's very easy to get the tactics wrong.
Yeah.
And on the day they were perfect.
Yeah. In terms of athletics in the county, how big a boost is this for all clubs and everyone involved in it?
It's massive. It really is massive. And young ones looking at it, it's great for them at this stage now. And there is a boom in athletics, but a lot of it is more recreational running. So we're hoping that a lot of people will see it's really about medals and championships. That's where the real running talks.
Yeah. And finally, Kay, put it into perspective for us. What's required for someone to go to a major championship like this and win a bronze medal?
Total 100% commitment from everything they do. It's all about winning. It's all about the racing.
Eamon, I've been following you on Facebook in terms of the championships.
Good man.
Some achievement this.
This is incredible, absolutely. A young fella, as the fella says, from Letterkenny, who came through the juvenile ranks here as a 12, 13-year-old, all of a sudden been onto the world stage. And what's good about it is, of course, a lot of good things too. Obviously, the way he competed in the final was incredible. Probably in the semi-final, we were sitting on the edge of our seats, maybe ran a wee bit fast, but the final tactically was incredible. Yeah. But from an athletics point of view, to a young fella from this neck of the woods here to come through a local club, local coaching structure, support and what have you, and obviously he's in UCD at the minute and he's still within the country. It's great. It's great for athletics, and it's obviously great for himself as well.
And when we look actually at the people that have won medals at major championships like the European, I suppose that puts into perspective how big a deal this is, Eamon.
Completely and utterly. If we look at, I know there's been plenty of records there over the last week about who has won. We're talking about people like Eamon Cochran, Sonia Sullivan, a few people. There's very, very few people that have won medals at European level, as you know. Offhand, I'm not sure, probably 6 or 7 people in Ireland over the course of 40-50 years. So that really puts it into perspective. Yeah.
Athletics is a big deal here in the county at all levels, and I suppose for somebody to take back a medal from a major championship just gives everybody a boost, Eamon.
It's a big deal, surely. Structures in athletics have improved quite a bit within the county. The club structures, facilities have improved, of course, as well, and of course coaching would have improved. But it's a big deal. This is a really, really big boost. I can go back and I'm old enough to remember Danny McDaid, as the saying goes, back in Limerick, and tears running down my face watching him leading Irish team to silver medals back 69 or 79, and all of a sudden this is the latest we have now, and this guy's only 21 years of age, and his career is basically in front of him, and a medal at European senior level at 21 years of age is absolutely incredible. Yep.
And finally, I suppose the fact that he is 21 years of age and he's won a medal at the major championships, we've had great expectations of him, and they're going to be enhanced and increased now, so that puts a bit of pressure on him, Eamon.
One of the great strengths he seems to have, and he doesn't seem to have, would be psychologically. I was listening to him being interviewed numerous times, even the last week, in the last few days. He's so strong up top, and really, I suppose, obviously there's going to be a little bit more pressure, more expectations, but the strength he would have is that he seems to have very definite, attainable goals all the time. He talked about even his race goals, even the final was exceptional, and he seems to have the same for his career going forward, and that's positive.
Well, I suppose fair to say you've known Mark English since he was knee-high to a grasshopper and watched his development, and I'm sure, like everybody else in Letterkenny and beyond here, hugely excited and delighted and privileged to watch him win a bronze medal.
Oh, absolutely, Charlie. It was absolutely superb. Mark was always, as you know, a very talented individual, but I have to say he had great support from his family, the sisters, and also Joe and Bridget. Never pushed him or anything like that. They were very good along the way, but Mark's talent he showed since 14 onwards, you know, and national races and everything. He brought himself on, and every year he's been showing improvement, and it was just superb, and brought great joy to everyone, particularly in athletic circles. Charlie, you know, fantastic to see, you know.
We've seen plenty of talented youngsters at that age that you've mentioned that don't fulfil really the talent that they have for one reason or another, Paul, and we know how dedicated you have to be. I think Kay Burne said to me, it's 100%, it dominates your life if you want to be as successful as he's been.
Oh, absolutely, Charlie, that even at a local level you see people running 5Ks, and there's huge dedication involved in running, the guys at the top end, and at every level is putting in a huge effort. But at that stage, the world stage, Charlie, it's unbelievable. Every point one of a second is a huge difference, particularly on the track, you know. So it's to great credit to him that a very level-headed individual, and I couldn't have it to a nicer fella as well. It was super.
Some excitement seeing him coming down that last 100 metres.
Oh, it was tremendous. I brought me. I thought I was a young fella jumping up and down when looking at him. It just great excitement, and it was the same for everyone. That even the buzz all during the week at work for people that mightn't be that interested in athletics was, you know, became fans overnight regarded, and it caught their imagination as well. Charlie, it was super now.
I think I was exhausted at the end of it.
I well imagine, Charlie, knowing you getting excited too like the rest of us.
Thanks, Paul, appreciate it. Thanks. Councillor Michael McBride's with me here, and Chairman of the Letterkenny Municipal Area. So it's a proud moment in sport, but it's a proud moment, I think, in every aspect of life here for Letterkenny and for Donegal, Michael.
It is, Charlie, it's fantastic. You know, as post number one, we have to congratulate Mark on his achievement. It's been just absolutely fantastic for a person from Letterkenny to finish third in the European Championship. And I suppose, you know, as we look at all aspects of sport in Donegal, they're on a real roll at the moment. And whatever the mothers are feeding them, keep doing it.
I put a thing up on my Facebook, actually. Philip Dagenham, Seamus Coleman, Jason Quigley, Michael Murphy and Mark English. I mean, 5 young men. The level of their achievement in their young sporting careers has been fantastic.
That's correct, Charlie, but we can't forget the women either. You know, we have Anne-Marie Ward swimming there and cleaning up
Chloe McGee at the badminton.
Chloe McGee in the badminton. The 2 girls this weekend, Larissa Muldoon and Nora Stapleton, achieved the highest thing that Donegal has ever, or Ireland's ever achieved in rugby. And you know, we look at Brian Boyle at the rallying, and there's just across the board, our minor footballers, our senior footballers, they're all doing it. So hopefully they can keep it up.
It's an excellent point, Michael, because it's so important for the county, because we are a sporting county, and to have this type of success gives everybody a boost in very difficult times.
Oh, that's correct. You know, we don't have to look back too far. 2 years ago when we won the All-Ireland, you know, it was one of the greatest things that had happened, I suppose, since they won it in 1992, and there was a lift all around the county, you know, and to see that we're able to achieve at the levels that we achieve at, and all the different sports that we're competing with a relatively small population of 100, maybe 80,000, it's fantastic, and I'm delighted to see the turnout of people here tonight in Letterkenny to honour the achievement of Mark English. It's fantastic.
We're here at the Market Square awaiting the arrival of Mark English with his bronze medal from the European Championship. Mairead Hennessy, formerly Mairead Kelly, one of the founder members, one of the early stagers in Letterkenny AC. Very proud, I would say.
Oh, very proud moment. The whole town, I'm sure, are really proud of him. I just think it's a phenomenal achievement what he did at such a young age. And like, it's his first time out there on the big stage, and really being confident enough to compete with the very best and doing so well. And I think it's just the beginning for him. I think it's the beginning of great days to come. And I'm so proud for Mark, for his family and for Letterkenny.
Yeah, absolutely, Mairead. I suppose the thing to say about Mark is the last couple of years we've had such high expectations of him, not only us here but at national level. They've been talking about him, this guy's the real deal, this guy's going to do it. I mean, that really puts a big weight on a young man's back.
Well, it does, you see, like, you must remember Mark's coming from Irish athletics, not English athletics, you know, and he's just after completing his leaving cert there about 3 years ago, and then studying full time. That in itself, there's a lot of kids, young ones, when they go to college, they actually give up sport because of the pressures of study and travel and all that, and he's trying to combine both of those and, you know, succeed in both. And I think it's just a phenomenal achievement that he's done this on the back of heavy study as well. You know, and I'm sure if he were not studying or not working and maybe a full-time athlete, he might have maybe produced more. But then is that the right way to do it? Maybe if that were the case, he'd be lying injured now. He's a young guy, and he has to be taken gradually, and he has to be coached very, very carefully. Athletes at that level, and it's just a balancing act, and I think he's doing it the right way.
It's an interesting point, Marie, and it leads my next question. We've got the Worlds next year, and then of course the Olympics will come around again. He'll still be relatively young. Should he be thinking about now maybe being a full-time athlete? Because I don't think there'll be any problem with him getting the funding to be, and just set the studies aside. And some people might suggest he'll have plenty of time for that in 5 years' time or so.
Yeah, well, that's true, but I think it depends on the particular person. I think there's some people maybe that if they went into full-time athletics that they might find it very pressurising. Perhaps the study, the other side of his life, is a deviation from that. I'm not sure. It's down to the individual himself. Maybe he seems to be a very cool young guy. I don't know Mark very well personally, but he seems to be a very cool, composed young fella, and at the minute he seems to be well able to deal with what he has on board. Now, I would say that would be a decision for himself, and I'm sure it's something he has thought about, but it's not something I'd be pushing him to do if it weren't his choice.
Yeah. We'll set all that aside. This is a fantastic night tonight, and great crowd gathering up to welcome a bronze medalist in the European Championships. It's great to be able to say that, Maria.
Absolutely. Like, to think back 20 years ago, when did we think we would have a European bronze medalist come in here? I was just, my heart was in my mouth watching him running, and I'm out of athletics now this couple of years, but it was just such a thrilling thing to watch, and to see hear the English commentators talking about this young guy from Ireland, and the Dublin commentators talking about Letterkenny, an athlete from Letterkenny and Donegal. I was so proud to hear that.